Yo, just beat Valhalla about an hour ago. Damn! Good job, Santa Monica. Did not expect it to be that good. My eyes were like fucked up. I started playing this. I went to bed at 1 last night. I got up at 8. And started playing it at 11. I didn't stop till 3, and my eyes just all sorts of fucked up. Look at that. It's like dry eye city. I'm not sure if it's because I'm looking up perpetually to see the screen or what. But damn, really took a number on me. But it was really good, really good. The ending, I could have been a little bit better, but that's only just because I think they had to work within the confines of having only one boss fight. I think Tyr was great. Bringing back Magni and Modi was good, but I feel like I would have preferred if we just had like 3 Tyr fights and then a fourth fight that's like really something special. And it just kind of felt like the things they chose to focus on in Kratos' past, it was kind of a little goofy in some ways. Like, there's some things I get, like talking about Pandora. She was an important character in God of War 3. Having her be a main thing to bring up in his past, that made sense. But Helios, like Helios, sure, he had out of all the gods he killed, he had like the most connection to him versus, but like destroying taking out the sun, that wasn't the only thing he did. He destroyed the oceans. He spread disease everywhere. He got rid of what's Hermes, all these guys. He fucked them all up. And you're only going to be talking about Helios, and you're never once going to even bring up Zeus. Like, I don't think they brought up Zeus a single time in this entire DLC, which is a little disappointing. Still good though. Like, once again, for a DLC that like allows you to literally have these, what's it called, the Blade of Olympus again, and fight all these cool enemies from God of War 3 and give you all these cool armors and have this whole fun new game mode and have all this story content and make it free. Damn. I mean, complaints aside, it's already 10 out of 10 for that. So yeah, really enjoyed it. Not much to really complain about, in truth. I think the gimmick though, I would have preferred if they had some checkpoints. Because I mean, like, shit, dude. Like, at least it's Sifu. Sifu was a good roguelike because it was like, yeah, you had to. The goal was to get to the end with the least amount of deaths, yada yada yada. But you had like each level, you still had a break. It wasn't like if you died on the second one, you had to go all the way back to the first one. No. Right, so I would have preferred they'd done something like that. There's a lot of times that happened where I was just kind of like, for example, when we first fought Tyr, you know, when I first fought Tyr, I was so blown away by how cool it was that we're fighting him that I died, and then I had to. Then when I found out I had to run all the way back to him, I was just sitting here like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah. But as for Dreams of the Vengeful stuff, yeah, not much needs to be changed really with my story in relation to this DLC. It's not like I need to change it anyway if there were massive changes, because once again, my story, Dreams of the Vengeful, is already set in a separate canon from the base games. Right? It follows the cut ending of God of War Ragnarok with killing Surtur and Sinmara, and it also has, it has a story that doesn't allow for the exploration of other pantheons. Like, spoiler alert, but the second book I'm going to be writing in the Dreams of the Vengeful series is basically going to be like, it's written as an ending to the God of War universe, So, uh, it's not that it's not a problem even if this wasn't not canon. But nothing really happened here that changed my suspicions. In fact, some stuff was added to the original story, because my original story, I had plans to have Tyr be sort of like before he became the God of War that he is today. He wasn't that good of a person. He had some problems he had to deal with. And in this DLC, it kind of plays onto that idea, with Tyr saying that he was nervous to become the God of War at first, and he also had to go to Valhalla to conquer himself. So kind of suggesting that he had flaws beforehand. So, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff here, even down to him losing his arm, because I have plans in the story to have it so that Tyr will get back his arm from a method that I'm writing into my story, you know? And so I have to change that slightly, how the method that he got his arm back plays into it, because it's been confirmed that how Tyr got his arm back in the story after he fed it to Garm was it had to do with somehow kind of grazing or glancing the underworld. So when he did it, it kind of killed him. It made his soul kind of dead in a weird way, you know, which is bizarre. But I think it still fits in with the. So I have to basically put into the lore now of how this device works, that it kind of makes the soul die in a weird, goofy fashion, in a weird way. Yeah, so that's the only thing I need to change there for Dreams Eventual. I didn't do anything today, by the way, about that, which is fine, understandable. I mean, it was God of War Day. Today's God of War Day, but yeah, we still have to. Well, today is Tuesday, and we have to. Yeah, the whole goal is to once again have everything set and ready to go before the end of the year. So when I get the artwork back on the 31st, we can just stick the video out right away, so people can immediately start sinking their teeth into this new God of War story I have written, because I think it's pretty good. Like I said yesterday, I'm on the. It may not be good for all I know, really, but I put a lot of work into it, and my goal with this story is to really tie a lot of things together. Like even in this game, I originally I'm not. This is a spoiler, but this is in the first chapter. It's kind of it doesn't really matter. The first character that Atreus is gonna fight in my story, his first god that he ever kills in a story really, is the god Forseti. Now Forseti, he was teased in Ragnarok slightly as being an investigator who helps Sif find out that Heimdall was in fact killed by Kratos, but beyond that, Forseti's not talked about at all. And in my story, Forseti's main ability is that he can create clones of himself, kind of like a variation of Shadow Clone Jutsu from Naruto. I don't even watch that show, but apparently that's what he does there. And except the main difference is that where in that show, I read up on it, and apparently you can just attack the thing, and it's like its own entity, but then the damage gets transmitted back to the user. How Forseti's clone works is basically, it is a full copy of him, and if you damage it, it disappears, right? But it only if you hit the assigned body part that clone can use. And anyway, the whole point I'm trying to get here is that he has a clone ability, and what does Tyr use in his boss fight in this DLC? Clones, And at the end of my story, I always intended at the end of Dreams the Vengeful, Forseti is he's gonna be brought back, and that is a big spoiler. I don't, no one's reading my story and watching this video. Forseti's going to be brought back to life, and he's going to be able to meet with Tyr, and Tyr and him are it's going to be established that Tyr and him were kind of always close in a way. So it kind of makes perfect sense as to why Forseti would have this ability, because Tyr taught to him, And yeah, so a lot of fun stuff we got to work going on. I need to get mainly what I need to do tonight is I need to get fixed, because I'm unhealthy as shit right now. No vitamin D, no vegetables, no nothing is flowing through my veins that's good for me. I've been living on fucking cookies and sugar for the past 2 days. That's all I've been doing at my grandmother's. My grandparents, my aunt and my grandmother, they live in the same house together, and they're both basically crippled to shit, dude. And so I've been helping them bake shit for the holidays. And I've just been surrounded by cookies, and I've been eating them nonstop. Once again, I still have the plan that once the new year comes around, we're finally going to lose all this fat on my face and body, because it's really getting to a disgusting point right now. I remember when I was looking at myself, when I was 215, I was looking in the mirror in high school, and I was like, ugh, gross. Right now, and now I'm 250 right now. That's what, 35 extra pounds. Ooh, gross, nasty, and probably even more because of all the shit I've been eating for the last few days. But yeah, so that plan still is steadfast. Not much else to really talk about, really, not much else to talk about. Do I have any comments of people trying to debunk me? Debunking me? Trying to debunk me? No, that's old. That's old news. Old news. Yeah, nothing really to talk about. I think that'll conclude today's video. See ya.